This one's out to the heads that know. Never been seen like jet black snow. When I'm on stage with a mic in my hand, got the vibe with the gang and the rest lot know. Living in peace, use breath control, and if I'm in deep, let's tread that slow. Don't come with a next angle. Got more sides in the rectangle. All that past, just let that go. Turn off the lights, don't end that show. Look on dance floor, show gets live. Oh, I see pyros, I see smoke. Graveyard shift, that's set in stone. Stepping stones, I'm stepping slow. Come to the venue, bless them, go. My DJs come to let them know.
This video is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Hey, welcome back, YouTube. This is Erick at Studio 182 Pro, along with Austin Oral, Parabolic 33 live streaming in the house tonight. We also have Dave Canney with us from Blue Collar Bodybuilding, as well as Dave Perez from the Heavy Reset. He is he's preparing and he's in prep for his upcoming first amateur show. It's a transformation show. For those that don't know, Dave Perez here, he went through a tremendous weight loss transformation. So this is a transformation bodybuilding show. And for those that aren't aware, let's just take a quick look at what Dave used to look like here real briefly. This was him back when he was, what, 360, Dave, you said?
370, yeah, man.
370, yeah. And this was him back at the Olympia back in, what was that, October? Yeah, October.
Last year's Olympia, it was probably about 255 in that.
Yeah, I actually recorded him while he was there when I was with Ryan at H4M, and I didn't even know it. And a couple weeks later, he was on the show. It was pretty wild. So, yeah, we're going to be getting into all that. Mike Corner should be here. He's probably running a bit late. So we're going to be getting into, Dave Perez, actually, he got into, he got Bunk HGH. So we're going to talk about HGH analysis and how we can prevent that from happening. We're going to talk about his cycle, his prep, what's coming up for his show, what's for the future, and look at his labs as well as his latest DEXA scan. It's going to be fun. And of course, we take questions. We got some questions already here in the chat. We got questions left over from last week, so there's no shortage of that. And yeah, guys, go ahead. Keep dropping them in the chat. We'll get to you. It's good to see people here early tonight. It looks like we have 11 already. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Austin Oral, how you doing, brother? You don't come around much. I don't see you too often. I don't hear from you too often either. How you been, man?
Yeah, doing good. Keeping busy, and yeah, just doing what I do. Try to find ways to make stuff work better. That's pretty much it.
Right.
That's what we do. Well, bodybuilding or health in other ways. Just whatever keeps my interest in this field. So
that's it. And Dave, I thank you for appreciate you coming on tonight, man. What have you been doing? What have you been up to? I see you just posted, or maybe you haven't posted. I might have seen it unlisted, one of your latest physique pics. And damn, you're looking fucking juicy, dude.
Well, thank you. Yeah. No, not much going on in my field right now. Unfortunately, I came back from a wake today for.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
Those are never fun, but it gives you a little perspective on life in general, just to kind of, remember to appreciate every little moment, how nice it is we have to get on here and talk about the things we're passionate about. And, it's nice. Every day you get to wake up is, whether you're hurting or not, it's a good day. We're lucky.
That's one way to look at it. And I'm hurting. Yeah, back into this is my second week of training. Let's see. I did 3 full body workouts, then trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and tomorrow will be 5 days, baby. Back
Nice.
at it. Next week will be week 3. Then week 4, I plan on being full training, cranking up the volume. Next week, I'm going to add the volume. Week 4, I mean, that's really a fast progression. I'm pretty shocked at how quickly the muscle is coming back. I mean, there's some significant atrophy, and the surgery in my neck was a big benefit. Yeah, the only difference now is that I have a deficit of strength because there's significant more atrophy on my right side. But besides that, the surgery was a success because not from an impingement that I'm feeling. It's really just from lack of muscle. But on another note, Dave Perez, the heavy reset. Looking good, dude. I've been looking at your pictures, man. It's been fucking cool shit. So how you feeling? What have you been up to? Tell me what you're doing.
Feeling good, man. I mean, we're nine and a half weeks out and trucking along. You know, I've been working with a coach since the beginning of February. So it's definitely been different than my initial weight loss journey. I just kind of did everything on my own, was learning as I went along, you know, went from 370 to 340 and then down to 250, 255. And so it's definitely been different working with a coach and kind of having somebody else take the wheel for me, man. It's been kind of nice.
Yeah, that's something I'm sure David had to. You guys did a podcast recently talking about how you have to have a freaking coach. As a matter of fact, I think it was Tanya that was talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel in the long run, it definitely makes a lot of sense. You know, for the young kids that they all think that Google can tell them everything they need to know, ChatGPT, and you know, they just load up on a bunch of supplements every month that they don't need. You know, in the long run, you can kind of save money and save time, which is a huge thing you want to gain when you're working so hard to lose body fat or try to get prepared for a show. You know, I think the best thing you can do is get a little guidance, and it doesn't always have to be full on coaching. You know, if you got a good background in training, but nutrition's not your thing, you know, get someone to work along with you or just kind of do a few consultations. But education's king, you know, so someone that can teach you. I'm sure Dave as well could probably say that he's learned already a decent amount from having some guidance in his back pocket, you know. So it's all benefits. You want as many tools at your disposal as possible.
Right. Often the thing you see is people kind of get into it like intuitively or organically. They'll just like have that way that they go about a diet, like, or how they'll structure their own training, you know, based on what they start with. But you have to design you have to have a process to contain that. Like if you just kind of go about it the way that you've intuitively fallen into it, you don't really have as much control over it as knowing what the alternatives are. Yeah. So, you know, like, just like knowing what are the things that you want to be able to be in control over that a coach would have control over. Most people just they think that this is the best for me and that's this. They just think they're doing it the best way, you know, but a coach is somebody who's worked with a lot of people, not just you.
Yeah, they can give you options too, right? Like you get the availability to learn something different. Like you might only know one kind of dieting style or one kind of nutritional aspect. You know, when you have, like, I was very new to carb cycling when I started getting my being coached by Paul, and then I started getting into it, and it you know, it made a lot of sense, and now I've really adopted it to a point. So having someone to kind of teach you, like, hey, how do you know this diet's the perfect diet for you unless you've tried a few other angles, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I like to screw it up on purpose to
that way you can find a way and figure it out and correct it, right?
Yeah, I think it's been great being hands off because, you know, by myself, I probably would have already started cutting calories and kind of, you know, pulling panic levers if I didn't have him that I was checking in with every week. And honestly, we haven't changed my meal plan at all since February, and I've lost over 20 pounds. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, I want to pull up while you guys are talking about that. You know, Dave, please talk about your diet here and how far does this go back, what we're looking at here at this first picture. And then we see the progression here where you really just start just melting the body fat off, right?
Yeah, so that first picture on those sets of 3 that I sent you.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me pull that up. I didn't even see it. I didn't have it up. My bad.
There you go. So yeah, that first picture on the left, I was still about 325, 330 in those pictures. Those are a couple years old. Okay. The middle picture is when I started working with the coach right at the beginning of February. I was still floating around the 255 to 257 range, you know, on the daily basis there. And then that third picture on the right is my most recent check-in last weekend.
Nice.
So, and I'm down. I've been floating around. I was about 235 in that picture. So,
and are you going heavyweight or do you have a weight cap?
I like to hit a heavy set and then do like a back off set.
No, I meant for your competition.
Oh, there's no weight cap in mine. So my transformation division is basically I'm in the 75 to 150 pound weight loss category. So they have four different categories, kind of based on how much weight you've lost, and so I'll be in the 70
time frame, right?
Yeah, a certain time. I have it's a 3-year period for the one I'm in.
Okay.
So my starting weight for the show will technically be 340 pounds because that's what I was back in 2024.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, let's move along here. I want to take a look at some of these here. Now, this is nice picture, man. Your triceps really coming in nice, and I'm actually kind of shocked at how much you don't have like a real lot of loose skin. I mean, yeah, there's some loose skin. There's no question about it, but a lot of people that lose like a tremendous amount of weight, like over 100 pounds or more in a short period of time, you know, a lot of times they have to have surgery.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely got some that I'll probably need touched up with surgery in the future, but ultimately, it hasn't been terrible. Maybe I'm a little bit lucky genetically on that. I know genetics is kind of a big part of that. And I also tried to make sure I was losing the weight slowly along the way. I mean, from 340 back in 2024 to, you know, when I got down to 250, I mean, it was almost a year and a half. I mean, I didn't go super fast. You know, some people diet down really, really fast. I really focused on kind of more, you know, maintaining. I actually built a bunch of lean tissue while I was losing body fat. So I was kind of recomping along the way. I took a lot of diet breaks. Every time I did a deload week, you know, I would do a little bit of a diet break and kind of just bring my calories back up and make sure, you know, I was kind of keeping my metabolism, you know, from just crashing out on me. So that helped. And I've tried to put a lot of muscle back into, you know, like, especially like in my arms and stuff. Like if you look at like my front double bicep from when I was over 300 pounds to the new one now, you can definitely tell I lost all that fat, but I've stuffed some muscle in there that helps kind of, you know, fill out that skin, luckily.
Yeah, right there. You're talking about, that's a rear double. I don't see a front double. Maybe we'll get to it.
There was one on one of those sets of 3, I think, was a front double, but yeah.
We'll get to it because whatever you sent me, but while I was out, I pulled up, so we'll get to it for sure. All right, let's. I want to get into this now about your. Well, let's first look at this. This is one of the sickest pics I've seen of you ever. This, like, let me actually enlarge this a little more so the audience can see, especially if you have a phone. I mean, I was like, "What the fuck?" It's
a good shoulder pump, and that down lighting in the posing area there at my gym, man, is pretty nice when you catch the shadow just right. So
yeah, right. I was like,
it doesn't look that big. I wish it looked that big all the time in person, man. But it's like that's like a pump pick right after a good workout only.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I wanted to get into this, okay, because tell us how this happened. You got bunked on your GH, which must have pissed you off because that shit ain't cheap for one thing.
I mean, I guess kind of. I mean, it made me laugh more than anything, probably, man. I mean, I got a really good deal on that, and it was one of those deals that was like, man, this is too good to be true, and then it was too good to be true. So just, you know, keep in mind, everybody, if something seems too good to be true in life, it probably is.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. Oh, go ahead, Austin. I'm sorry.
I was going to say a similar brand to this, like Gen X Tropin. It's like just back before, you know, in the early days, and like the vials didn't have like vacuum in them or anything like that. But
so that's exactly what happened with these. They did not have a vacuum in them, which was the first red flag. And you know, but I had looked this up before I purchased it, and it had a lot of reviews like on the old forums and stuff, and they were all pretty good, it seemed like, but they were older too. They were a couple years old. So I don't know if it used to be a good brand and now it's not, or what was going on with that, but I couldn't find any lab reports, of course. What's that?
How did you know it was fake?
So the vacuum not being, you know, the vial not having a vacuum was a tip off. And then I actually went and did a serum GH test. So I pinned 10 IUs intramuscular right before I went in for a blood test. And it ended up being 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours, basically. So right in that peak window. So my serum level should have been something. And as we'll see on my labs, it was nothing. So it was a pretty, yeah.
I think
the stuff I had was real. Yeah, like it ended up working, but like the vacuum was gone in the vial, is what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Eric,
Interesting.
can you pull the box up again? I think the math is wrong too. I think was it 10 milligrams for 210 IU or 30 IU? Either way,
Yeah,
they're wrong.
30 IUs. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's not correct.
There was
right?
there was 7 vials in that box, and they're supposed to be
Yeah.
30 IUs each for a total of 210 IUs. But yeah, the math on the 10 milligram per 2 milliliters, I don't know how they're working out that math.
Yeah, so correct me.
Well, I
if I'm
guess 10
wrong,
milligrams
be-
per vial would be 30 IUs, right? 3 milligrams.
But
per,
if there's 210 IUs, that should be 70 milligrams total.
right,
in
yeah,
the whole kit,
the labeling on the
kit.
box is completely wonky. When I started looking at it later, I was like, yeah, this should have been another red flag, man.
Yeah, I'd have to pull out my handy dandy calculator, but I think it's what
there's
is it?
10 milligrams
18
per
IU.
vial.
What
10
is it?
milligrams per
18
vial.
IUs is 6 milligrams.
Yeah. So there's 10 milligrams in each vial, and then there's 7 of those. So
Yeah.
the math does work out. It
Right.
comes out to yeah. So there
I
is
see.
70 milligrams, but interesting.
Just the way they label
But-
it's a little confusing for
Yeah,
sure.
but then it says 30 IU, approximately 10 milligrams of soma. So it's like I thought you'd get 12 milligrams for 36. So I guess that's cool. Yeah, I guess it looked.
Yeah, because it should be 3
The math
milligrams
wasn't-
per IU, right? So
Yeah, I guess I got to work on my mental math a little better, huh?
yeah. Well, and then it was funny too. So like if you look at the vials, it's pretty much got the same label, and they printed it on there, and it shows like the 30 IU, but then it also says like 210 IU, and it's like the same exact as the outside of the box, and they just like put it on a label, and I'm like, okay, that's a little confusing too. So
Did it have a pamphlet?
it looked very legit. I was like, okay, this looks like decent, Chinese generic, and because it says it was made in China. It may or may not have been acquired in Mexico. So
Mhm.
I don't know. So, I mean, there's a couple options, maybe it was legit and got heat damage in a warehouse or something, or shipping damaged or something. But, there's also obviously the possibility that it's just some lyophilized mannitol or something,
Well, it'd have to go through one heck of a beating for it to lose a lot of its potency, from what I understand. The little I got in that podcast they had where somebody interviewed Jano Schick there on their testing of products, and the guy said, he goes, yeah, I put a bottle of growth hormone out on the window just to sit there in the heat and bake in the heat, and the thing barely got lost any potency. So for that to happen that way, I'd imagine you'd just have some weak GH, even if it went through heat and cold back and forth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
So it
seeing
may
that.
not have been bunk, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
there's,
it just
I've got a crazy
Nature.
anecdote with this too. But I don't know if anyone else has had a vial of melanotan that they've kept in their fridge for like 2.5 years or something like that.
not 2.5 years, but I've had melanotan that lasted 6 months easy.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had it go bad,
Oh,
So,
even after 2.5 years?
yeah, I know. Don't do that, but it
Wow.
works.
I
So,
can't believe it. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. You
the
should
other
do
weird
that.
thing is my IGF-1 on my previous blood work was decently high. I mean, it was in the higher
Yeah, as a
200s.
matter of fact, we're going to pull that up right now. I want to get a look at your labs.
I don't think it's on this one. I think it's on the labs I sent you last time I was on before I started my
Oh,
prep,
okay.
but,
My bad.
but it was like in the high 200s. I feel like I was like, close to 270 or something too. It was at the top of the reference range. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe this GH is good. And then I went and got the serum GH test and was like, maybe not. So maybe it's, some sort of IGF-1, something that pumps the IGF-1, but it's not real
Well,
GH. I don't know.
I mean, upper 200s for being on GH isn't that high, really. That's like a number you would see on GH while on Trenbolone, though. So, like on Tren, I've never seen anybody get. I've never seen anybody get over 260 while they were taking Tren with GH, and then not that reduces the effectiveness. I think we've talked about this, but originally I talked about this on Hormones for Me back when I was on doing that, but there is many studies that shows that Tren increases the uptake of IGF-1 actually into the cell and increases the IGF-1 receptor. Yeah, I looked through a few of those, but I ended up looking for that after the fact when I was like trying to explain why this might happen uniquely with Tren. But I guess it just goes to show you that I don't believe that the serum number really ultimately matters per se directly. You know, I mean, it could relative to an apples to apples comparison, but it's not to say that it's just the be all end all.
What's up, Zionic? Good to see you, brother. All right.
Yeah,
So,
sucks to see
go
that
ahead, Dave.
happen.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say it sucks to see that happen. You know, it's I rarely see people get some bunk stuff when it comes to growth hormone, but it just such a bummer. I feel sorry to hear that, dude. Just
No, it's okay. I think we got it worked out, and I should have something hopefully this weekend showing up,
Nice.
so we should be good.
Nice.
I still got 9 weeks. I think there's still time
Yeah,
for it to help out.
You got time. You got time. So,
Yeah.
you know, at least you found out early enough. And I actually, before we get into your labs, I want to know what I know what you were running for a cycle. Is it from the last time we had you on? Have you like increased the androgen, made any changes, or are you still
So I
doing
think
the?
since the last time I added some Primobolan.
Okay.
So I was on pretty much test only. So I've added some Primo at half my test dose basically. So I was doing 280 a week test, which is just 40 milligrams daily, and then I added 20 milligrams daily of the Primo, just to kind of help bring my E2 down because it was getting a little high. I mean, I've never had high E2 symptoms or anything, luckily, but
How long have you been on that?
On the 280?
Yeah.
That was, I think, since like November. I've kind of titrated up. I mean, when I started TRT, it was at like 120 milligrams a week, and then it was 180, and then I kind of titrated up to like 240, and now I'm up at 280. So over the last 2 years, I've kind of just slowly titrated up to a higher TRT plus or sports type dose, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, did you get your E tested on this? Are we got labs to look at here?
Yeah, there's the E2s on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about what he was on before we took a look here. So here we go. We got Dave Perez Labs from, let's see, 5/2 of 26. So that was May 2nd. That's really not too long ago at all. Let's take a look here and see what we got. Okay. SHBG. All right. 8.
Came up to 8. So it was crushed from I think I talked about it last time I was on. It was crushed from 7 weeks of Anavar that I did.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, it used to float around the 22, 23 range, and then I did 7 weeks of Anavar and it crushed it down to 6. And then
is that just on test?
What was that?
Is that the 20 range? Is that just on test?
Yeah, that was just test only. 20,
How much?
22, 23. I mean, it was in that range the entire time. I was on like 180 milligrams all the way up to the 240 milligrams, and then even into that 280 range. So it kind of just hovered right around there. But I never did anything for like an AI or anything. My Estradiol was always running at 60 something to 80, probably something was my last one before I added the Primo. So
right. And then if you crush it, like you can see guys who take tests like that, like 280 even, and their SHBG is decent. It's not decimated. It's like when you're blasting crews, like, and in particular, like the Primo will do this too, just in and of itself. Test with Primo. Anytime you introduce an AI, I don't even know if actually an AI, but with Primo for sure, like, or Anavar too. But I don't know, whatever the two combined are, like it just really does, lower SHBG like that. Like, I think it's the androgen to estrogen ratio. Like you said, with running test only, you're going to have a much higher estradiol, and estradiol is a stimulus to produce SHBG. So you're going to have it at a higher level, but you can maintain it. It's just harder to recover it, like in that state. But I'd be interested to see on just what you have on just the test and Primo too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's going to be pulling his labs again soon, right?
How long?
It should be on that lab that you have there. It's at 31 right now.
Now let's pull it up. Let's get back to this. All right. So your SHBG total test mass spectrometry 1598. So that's yeah. I mean, I would even consider that like, still optimize TRT levels for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people run 1600 nanograms and they feel fucking great. You know, and their markers aren't skewed or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep certain markers like intact. You know, like it depends on how hard you want to hit certain meds or supplements, but like it's with his SHBG of 8, you know, and then the total 98, like his free would be like, you know,
should be right below here, but yeah, it's
3x super physiological, you know.
It's pretty good right now. It's
yeah,
like
you're free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's almost at 500, 482. So yeah, wow.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I don't pay attention to that, but like that's just how I do it. Like how long ago was the oxandrolone run though? Previous to
that
this?
Was let's see, that was
the last time we had you on. Actually,
I mean, the last day I took it was when it was the last time I was on. So it was back.
Yeah,
I'll tell you exactly when it was.
2 months at least.
March or something, February or March.
Let's see.
So yeah, that's what you see. It won't recover on test and primo. Like if you provide test and primo, like it just won't recover. But
March 26th. March 26th.
So I think I had stopped it about 6 or 7 weeks before these labs is when I stopped the Anavar. So
yeah, like that's just
kind of what you while to recover, huh?
It takes a while to recover if you're gonna just do test, like because on test it's gonna just settle at like 20, you know, maybe 22 or something like that. But if it's like it goes up slowly, you know, so if it's going to only take it from 8 to 20, like it's going to get to 20 much slower than if it was going to jump from 8 to much higher than that. Like in my cases, every time, like when I recover it, it takes 3 weeks to go from a 4 to a 12, you know, like, and I've had a lot of instances where I just go from like short bumps up because I was kind of trying to map each of the different injectables to see what has what effect, you know, rather than like just trying to take a long time to just see how high I could get it so much. It's more so I was just interested in seeing what did what first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice spot to be at, though. I mean, if you're telling me that, you know, for what was it, 240, 280 testosterone you're running, and really that's just about it, no AI, just a touch of primo. I mean, that's a pretty good spot to be able to hang, you know. And I don't think, you know, having your SHBG a little bit higher would be nice, but it's not wild, like, you know, and then your estrogen's going to recover, it sounds like, a little bit. Some of these things are going to continue to slowly trickle up, like Austin's saying as well. You might fall in a nice little Goldilocks zone to be a TRT plus and stay relatively healthy and be able to utilize a really good, you know, total testosterone and free testosterone range. You know, it should be, you'd be Superman, but healthy Superman to a point.
Yeah, I felt really good. And, you know, like all my metabolic labs look pretty good. So, I mean, other than, you know, I don't think anything was really out of range other than the hormones, obviously. And, you know, my HDL was a little bit low because it was already, you know, moderately low. I think it was like 45, and then it went down to like 25 from the Anavar. But it's come back up, I think, into like the 30s now. I think we'd have to look at these labs that Erick's got, but
yeah, let me pull that back up.
It did recover after, you know, taking like 6, 7 weeks off.
Got the E2 ultra sensitive LCMS. There you go. 31.
I was gonna say, if you didn't get this on your labs, like I feel like anytime you're gonna do a check-in labs, what I would always do is add Glyce A. Like I don't know if I'm even saying it right, but it's a marker of inflammation in a bit of the long term. I've talked about it like before a little bit. Like hemoglobin A1C is kind of like your long-term blood sugar. HSCRP is kind of like the short term. Glyce A is kind of like a little bit longer term. So you can look at your, you know, just how much of an inflammatory state that you've been in. So
yeah, you can kind of confirm, you can kind of confirm like a confirmation trend over time using that as well.
That, and just like throw it on when you're going to put a CBC and a CMP on it, because if you're trying to look at those, you're trying to get a picture of your overall health, and those by default, like there's nothing really looking at your inflammation status. So unless you get HSCRP. That's what you see done often. But if, it could be low when you're otherwise in an inflamed state, and it could be high when you're fine. So this looks a little bit bigger picture than just like what's happening right this second when you got the blood taken.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll keep that one in mind for the next time I get the more in-depth labs, because I do an HSCRP and like a GGT and all the other more in-depth markers, when I need to. I just did them on the labs previous to these ones back in March, so I didn't run any of the extra stuff this time. It was just the basics.
Which is great, but if you picture a scenario where somebody doesn't check their CRP frequently, and they're like, hey, I'm going to take a look at it and just maybe some other inflammatory factors, by ordering that long-term panel, not only you're going to see what you missed out on when you weren't looking, so you're going to be able to confirm a little bit of a trend over a longer period of time. So, but for somebody that's keeping up with their inflammatory factors, then the HSCRP is going to do pretty good for you to a point. If you're keeping up with it, you're going to still confirm trends over time, if that makes sense. So if you haven't done it in a while, cover all bases for the first time, and then see how frequently you're going to be doing HSCRP, and you can keep up with it.
If you're getting like legitimate zeros, like I would say to do that, or like 0.2. But if sometimes people get like a 1 or a 2 HSCRP, do you see those, Dave?
Yes.
Do you see like the 1? Yeah. Like, so even if the difference between being at the 1 or 2 is like still going to contribute to the like a somewhat elevated glycemic, but if you could get, conceivably there's a situation where you get a 0.1, and you just had good rest that day, or good sleep and not processed food, you could get a false sense of security. I'm not like it's not like I've been seeing people with HSCRP get radically failed or anything. That's not what I mean.
Sure.
I think it's a cheap test, but Tanya's just saying that she can't get it. But
so I was just looking at where I've been ordering my labs through, and only True Diagnostic, you can order through different lab companies, and the only one showing it is True Diagnostic. It doesn't show for LabCorp or like Quest or anything. And the wholesale price on it is like $600 for one of them and $375 for the other. It's really expensive. I'm looking at it right now, man.
That's not what I paid for.
Wow.
Like, I got it done with Merrick
That might be a
Health
whole panel, actually. Hold on, let me see what they got in here.
I got it done at Merrick Health about.
Oh, that's a whole panel.
It's the last time.
That's why that's why it's so much. That's like a whole panel with like all kinds of stuff mixed into it.
Where is this though? What place are you looking at?
I'm looking at Rupa Health right now. It's and
they're like the equivalent of LabCorp, or do you just buy through them?
No, you buy through. They're like a wholesale. Yeah, you get like wholesale practitioner pricing through them.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember the last time I got it. But I was a patient with. I have been a patient with Merrick Health for like since 2022, and I always was ordering my labs through them. And one of my care coordinator there, Erick, he put that on my test because they just wanted to see it for free. So I was like, I looked into it a bit after that, but that was kind of like a cool bonus that they did. And then the other ones too.
Hey, what I'd like to do before we move on to Dave's DEXA scan here is I want to talk about the NPC Rhode Island show coming up, and let Dave Canney talk about this. I'm actually going to pull this up on the screen so that we can take a look here. I'm going, my wife's going, looking forward to it. Dave, you're a sponsor here. Is this the right one? Do I have the right one up? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Yep, this is it. All right. So, guys, I'm going to put this link actually in the box, but first I'm going to let Dave talk here about what this is all about. He's got a booth there. It's going to be a lot of fun. You get to meet him. Of course, you could gamble and all that shit. And then, you get to watch the show at night. They got a pretty nice little site going on here. I looked all through it. And, yeah, we're going to be there, man, for sure. Look forward to meeting you. It's going to be fun. So, Dave, the floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so this is obviously Rhode Island, as you can see. So if you're in the New England area and you guys want to see really great amateur bodybuilding show, they got this NPC Rhode Island Championships that you can come to on the 30th on Saturday. And it was a show that was consistently done some years back, but the promoter that put it on had actually passed away. He worked with the Expediters, and he put that show on. And then a good friend of ours, Justin Randall, who's a 212 pro, and he's also a judge in the Northeast, NPC Northeast. He took it over and decided to make it even better. And I've been to every show, just about every venue in the Northeast, all different states from Maine to, everywhere on the New England area. And this is literally becoming one of my favorite shows to go to. It's just, the venue's awesome. Like Eric said, it's in the Twin Rivers Casino. So the venue's great. There's plenty of room. All the little things that old men like me like to complain about, like parking, driving, getting there, not being cramped in like a, it's like wheelchair accessible, which is huge. My father's handicapped. When he likes to come to these shows and be a part of it, sometimes like the Boston shows, they're not handicap accessible necessarily when they're upstairs. You got to find different methods of getting up there. So, but we love to have anyone that wants to see a great show come by. My wife and I, Jackie, with Blue Collar Bodybuilding, we have a booth. We're one of the sponsors for the show. We're giving away, we got a half a dozen Wolfpack backpacks we're giving away. Meal prep lunch bags from Wolfpack. We got patches. We got a million things. I can't even remember them off the top of my head that we're doing raffles for and giveaways. But during intermission, you go do a little gambling, get a nice lunch, or get a couple of cocktails at the bar, and it's just one hell of a show. They do a great job, and the competition is badass for sure. Like, I think they had 200 competitors or something last year for their first year back at it, and actually, I think out of the overall winners last year, 3 of them went pro the same year. So there's some great competition. I got some athletes this year. I had some last year. And so if you're new to the sport and you want to check it out and you really want to see what amateur bodybuilding NPC league is all about, this is a great show. And I appreciate you letting me plug it there. It's anybody's got questions, just hit me up on Instagram. At Mr. and Mrs. You'll see right there under my name, Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah, right here. We got the Grip It and Rip It Blue Collar Bodybuilding logo. And damn, that's sweet, dude. You're also sponsoring a pro show in Texas, right? In August?
We are, yeah. So we're going to be sponsoring the Texas Pro. So that's in August 15th and 16th, I believe it is. I'll have more information once we kind of get rolling on that.
Sure.
But actually, there was a scenario where the 212 division wasn't getting enough support from sponsors to be able to put on their division. They were going to have the 212 back out of the Texas Pro, and when I heard about that, I got a good friend there that's in Texas that hooked me in with Sean Clarita, who's become a friend of mine as well, and we kind of tagged up together. We both put money together and decided that we want to make sure 212 is right there at the Texas Pro. And so we're going to be sponsoring that one as well. So 212 is going to be there at the Texas Pro. And Jackie and I also stepped up and put $5,000 extra towards the show, so we can give $2,500 extra towards the men's opens.
That's really cool,
prize
man.
money. Yep. So that way the men's open gets a little extra prize money. And where my wife is a figure pro, she wanted to put $2,500 towards the women's figure division as well, which they never get enough praise for what those girls do. And so, yeah, we'll have more information. I got Paul from Anabolic Bodybuilding. He's coming. He's sponsoring the show as well with me.
Oh, sick, dude. That's fucking awesome.
So it's going to be a good time. And we just, if I have one more second to mention, this is.
Take all the time you need.
Yeah, the reason we really got into kind of supporting some of the leagues like this, and especially the NPC, that's the foundation of where you see the athletes you look up to. This is where they all start. This is the farm league of where everything starts, is the NPC, and you earn your way into the pro leagues. And to see some shows come and go, some shows become really successful, other ones kind of dwindle out, and it's a little frustrating sometimes to go to a show that's not doing so well, and there's only 3 people in your category for women's physique or women's bodybuilding or a certain division. And we just want to really support the New England area and make bodybuilding accessible for everybody. So these shows that are really badass, I want to keep them going, and that's what I'm going to dedicate a lot of my time and some extra money to make it happen.
That's great.
So, so come support it for sure, and message me if you got any questions.
Yeah, and again, guys, this link here for the site here will be in the box, as well as Dave Canney's channel, and his contact is already in the box as well. I'll make sure his email is in there because that may not be. But yeah, reach out to him, and you also can just take all the information that is here on this site. It's really pretty thorough. And yeah, I'm pumped to go there. And yeah, Tanya cleared up that she's going to Texas. I was hoping I was going to be able to meet her down, and my wife too, or she's a big fan. She calls her Tornado Tanya. I think it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, that'd be cool, man. So yeah,
we got a big
like
group.
they have like I've only been to the Olympia, right? So that's like what I compare things to. Obviously, it's not going to be like the Olympia, but is it like kind of like, because you said there's a booth, so is it like kind of an expo type shit or what?
Yeah, so everything's going to be where the stage is. Let's just say the stage is front and center. Then you got all the seating behind the seating in the big banquet hall. Like, it's huge. I mean, it's a massive spot for a show. And we filled it up last year, which was cool. But behind all the seats is where all the booths are going to be kind of organized. So everything's all amongst the actual show. So it's not like the expo's out in the hallway and you got to, you got to buy tickets to get in. Once you're in, everything's inside there. But there's a lot of great other companies that are going to be there. I think, I know Andrew Barry's got a well-known coach is going to be there. I'm blanking on half of the names, but there's going to be a lot of good sponsors as well. But it's a lot of fun. Like, you can just go there, get tickets, come hang out at our booth. We'll have things for pictures and contests for people to win prizes and all different sorts of things. So, but it's a lot of fun. I was really thrilled at how well the show was run. It was like a pro show for an NPC show for sure.
Yeah, I'll bring a camera and record some content. That way you'll have the clips. Maybe you can upload them to your channel and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
cool, right?
Everybody come down. You'll be on YouTube if you come say hi to my booth.
Yeah, fucking sweet, dude. Looking forward to it. Jen's never been to anything like that. I've only been to the Olympia. I'm relatively new to the sport. I mean, outside of being in the space, I've never really been to a show or anything. Because we didn't actually even go into the show at the Olympia. We just did the expo. Yeah.
You'll have to do the Arnold sometime. I heard that's fucking sick. I've never been to the Olympia, but from what everyone tells me, the Arnold's really kind of like the consumer-friendly, fun show to do. And you'll obviously have top talent. The best guys in the world are showing up at the Arnold as well.
Right.
But yeah, we just don't want to see any I'm kind of tired of seeing shows that are just kind of like they're held at like the local VFW and like the local little spot. It's like, these people work really hard, and I think there's some money in the sport where we can put on some really good shows and make it quite an event that people just want to go to. You don't have to have a friend involved or compete yourself. You can just go catch a really cool show, and that's what I want to support.
That's awesome, Dave. On the right path. All right, guys, before we move on to the DEXA scan, I really appreciate it if you guys hit that like button out there. It helps us out a lot. It helps the channel. Drop comments on the comment. And if you watch this content and you're not subscribed, you enjoy it, please sub up. That helps out too. So we're going to get moving along now to Dave's DEXA scan, Dave Perez, that is. And let him talk about the progress that he's made here. All right, let's see. We got the measured date on the 5/18 of 2026. And of course, you have two previous ones that we did in our previous stream. I believe that was, we did the two previous ones, right? So that was back on 9/20 of 2025, then 2/17 of 2026. And now you're at a total mass at 17.9%, down from 27.7. Wow. So
yeah, I think I got
10.2%, right?
Yeah, I got a DEXA at a place in Maryland actually in 2024 November, when I kind of first started losing weight. I was still 325 pounds, and I was actually up at like 45 or something, 46% body fat back then. So it's a different company though, so it's not on this one. Oh,
okay. Well, you got your fat tissue down huge. Holy shit. From 73 pounds down to 43.2 pounds. Your lean tissue. Let's take a look at this. All right. So you've put on literally 8.1 pounds, is it? Or no, 7.9.
Yeah, that jumped to 197
Oh yeah, I didn't even
February
see
when I
that.
was on Anavar,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's probably a little skewed. That's probably why I didn't actually lose 7 pounds of lean tissue probably from February till now.
Now I've heard mixed results on DEXA scans. It depends on who you talk to. Dave, what's your perception or how do you feel about a DEXA scan? I know that there's a lot of things that are very like the visceral fat. Isn't that very accurate? The visceral fat?
Well, I'm not too sure about the visceral fat part, to be honest. And I'm not really looking at that half the time. I got nothing against DEXA scans. I think if you do them, you're going to read between the lines and kind of see where you're trending anyways. But, there's obviously a margin of error. Like you got to consider too, muscle 70% water. So if Dave walked in there and he overhydrated a gallon of water or underhydrated a gallon of water, it's going to show a big skew of a 14-pound swing roughly in muscle mass.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, yeah,
That's fucking huge.
Gallon of water is 8 pounds. So if he comes in 8 pounds more hydrated with a gallon of water in him, they're going to kind of pick that up and read that as muscle through a percentage base to it.
Okay.
So there's a lot of good to it. Yeah, you're going to learn a lot about it. Like the other night we talked on my show about Mike was showing us his hamstrings.
That's why I brought it up, to be honest.
Yeah, and his
I was watching it.
The funny thing is you could visually see his hamstrings. One was a little bit more engaged and a little bit bigger, and the other one was a little smaller. But the DEXA would actually tell us kind of like the discrepancies of each limb to a point. And I just I wouldn't count when you get down to like 4, 5, 6% body fat. I don't trust that they're super accurate. They're probably going to be pretty accurate on like, the middle of the road kind of guy, like where you're at now, Dave. That's probably going to be a valuable tool. When you're really big and you're really lean, those two extremes, you're probably going to be, there's going to be some error, but I got nothing against them. I just wouldn't overpay for them, go get them. And if you enjoy seeing them, you'll learn something from it.
You should have seen the first one that he had. He didn't even fit in it, bro.
Yeah, I was too wide. My arms were like cut off in that one from
and then the next one, then the second one he fit fully in. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like Dave said, I think it's a good tool for tracking the trend. But, nothing's going to be super accurate. These things, like you said, can all be skewed by hydration and different stuff. Like I said, you can see right there in that one in the middle, it said I had 197 pounds of lean tissue. Cause like I said, I was right in the middle of using some Anavar right there. I was fully pumped up in the muscle. I had all the intramuscular water and glycogen just fully saturated in my muscles, So
imagine if you're using D-ball, right?
Yeah, right.
You'd have been like 297.
Well, let me give you one thing that I look at with these as kind of a pointer, and I would treat it like we go get blood work, right? We build this little form of consistency to the time of day we go get our blood work, how much water we drink before our blood work, or at least I try to get my athletes to do that, right? I try to make sure that things stay consistent. We're not testing and comparing bloods from midnight to 8 in the morning, even though they don't test at 8, midnight. But you know what I'm saying? Like we try to build a consistency. You get up, go get your bloods at 9, let's say, make sure you put a liter of water in, try to go to the bathroom and you're fasted. All these consistencies before you're testing is going to make your results have a form of consistency when you go to evaluate them. So I would probably approach that, Dave, in the same sense when you go to get these, if a gallon of water is 8 pounds, I'd at least have some consistency of getting up, go to the bathroom, stay fasted, go get your DEXA and hydrate at a consistent rate each time you step on or get into the DEXA machine. So that way you're just kind of controlling those little bit of levers you can, those variables, just to paint you a better accurate picture, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I go fasted. I schedule my appointments in the morning, around 8 a.m. and I go fasted, at most, maybe I'm sipping on my coffee or something on the way there if I really, really, really feel like I need some caffeine in me before, but typically I'm just fasted. I don't drink anything. I try not to, because like you said, you put a bunch of water in your stomach or liquid in your stomach. I've definitely read that it can skew these things. So
sure.
So yeah, exactly like you said, I try to go in with the same conditions every time so that I'm getting an accurate representation of what actually changed, so I can see a true trend for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, let's slide down here and see what's going on. All right, these are cool. I love these pics. Let's get this thing out of the way. There we go. Shrink this down a bit.
Real quick with this, like Tanya had mentioned that she was looking for this test, and
Sure, go
couldn't
ahead.
find it anywhere. But yeah, I just found it on the LabCorp website. Like, you can't. I couldn't find it on like the lab builder places like Ulta or Merrick anymore. It used to be on Merrick, maybe like a year and a half ago. But yeah, no, I think you can order it through the LabCorp website directly, but they charge more.
Yeah, I didn't see it on Ulta, unfortunately, who we deal with.
Might have to try to talk my doctor into ordering it next time I get labs ordered through the doctor and see what the insurance pays for it.
I think you can order directly on LabCorp's website. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you just usually don't get that nice wholesale price like all these other websites that.
Yeah. Sure. No. You just buy that one test maybe, but yeah, that's a pain.
All right, Dave. So we got here. This is I love these scans here. Look at this. All right, so let's see. Recommended body fat percentage, men by percentile. Where are you at? Where's the? Okay, here we are down in the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it splits it out by, like Dave was saying, kind of by your arms, your legs.
Right, right. It gives you all the different body parts and your mass index and all that. Oh, pretty cool.
Android, gynoid.
How much? What are you taking? What are you running for this? Like right now, just the test in the Primo.
Just the test in the Primo, and then I'm a bunch of different peptides and stuff. So
yeah. So what are you taking for those? If you want to go into that,
SS31, Mots-c, our friend Rita that we don't mention because the name, she's not popular on YouTube, I guess. So we call her Rita. And let's see, I use glutathione 3 times a week. I'm doing 500 milligrams of glutathione injectable.
Yeah,
dude, how much do you spend on fucking peptides every month?
Luckily I've got a pretty decent vendor direct from China, so not a lot.
Oh, okay. I might need that. I might need that vendor.
Yeah, I got you.
This shit is getting crazy expensive.
No, they definitely do. If you're buying them, retail on the websites and different stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. Bottle of fucking Red is $275, man.
No, we could do way better.
Yeah, please do. How long does it take you to get it though?
Not very long. This vendor I've been working with for the last years, pretty consistent. Everything always lab tests good. I get third-party lab testing occasionally, just and check new batches of stuff, and it's always been good.
And can you get bulk slup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come in well, like you mean like the powder, like the raw powder?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I haven't seen that with my vendors yet. They've just got the pills, but they actually have the tablets going up to like 100 milligram tablets now.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Holy
so you
shit.
can, but they're not cheap though.
What's 100 milligrams?
The SLU.
Yeah, and how much would that cost though? Because it's not cheap even for the freaking 1 milligram tablets, dude.
Yeah, I'm using the 1 milligram tablets now. I'd have to go look back at the price list, but even
the place
the
I'm getting
milligrams
from, it's like 110 or 120 bucks for 60 freaking tabs.
Yeah, they're pretty spendy. These come in 100 tablet bottles, so you get 100 tablets instead of 60, but they're still pretty spendy. That's one of the things. It's not like there's not like a super big difference between what people are.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Help me out. My wife would be pumped about that. I'll tell you that. Anyways, let's carry on. All right, so let's keep going down here. We got your fat distribution report region, Android, 17.9% tissue fat percentage. Let's read the notes here. Android fat is associated with visceral unhealthy fat. Is concentrated in the abdominal region. More Android fat is often referred to as apple shape and can be metabolically active. Ideally, Android tissue fat percentage should be less than total body fat percentage. Oh, that's cool. All right.
You want to, at the end, I kind of just want to hear your experience doing that in the recent time, just what you're like, what the actual battles you guys are fighting with, and the strategy and like what I'm curious of what you think about the peptides, like, cause I don't really have any experience with SS31 or Mots-c actually, to be honest. So, curious of what the context was when you, like, deployed those, and what you just got from them, because I haven't used them.
So I actually deployed them after I wrapped up that little Anavar stint. But so the SS31 is supposed to repair the mitochondria, and then the Mots-c kind of upregulates, the output of your mitochondria. So the SS31 is basically supposed to get your mitochondria fixed and ready, and then the Mots-c kind of ramps them up, and from there,
Right.
so they kind of go hand in hand. Using the SS31 first,
And it works. It works.
I know how they work. I know how they
Yeah.
work. I was curious your lived experience.
Yeah,
Is it
so
your
far
experience?
it's been good, man. It gives you a lot of energy for sure, and it's not like a stimulant type energy at all. It's a different kind of energy. It's kind of hard to explain. And then I take 10 milligrams of methylene blue daily as well. So
That has stimulant effects too, also, right?
yeah, it definitely gives you it definitely gives you energy. So all three of them, paired together is definitely a boost for sure.
Have you taken them separately? Because I've run some mitochondrial stuff, but really just NAD and then injectable CoQ10. And, I maybe just like less fatigue at the end of the day, like that I noticed more early on, especially. Like I didn't have a prolonged benefit, but like I haven't tried Mots-c, I haven't tried SS31. But I'm curious if you took the methylene blue separately.
I did. I actually started that first last year and ran it by itself for probably only 3 or 4 weeks, but before adding in the SLU and the Mots-c.
I see. So did you you felt like you got a specific improvement from like Mots-c? And
Yeah,
SS31?
definitely the Mots-c, just a milligram a day is all I run it at. And it definitely seemed like it added to the energy boost for sure.
Okay. I see.
What I'm a big fan of is when with some of I deal with a lot of masters competitors, and I'll be honest, I've kind of gotten away from trying to use the heavy stimulant, old school ECYs, ECAs, clenbuterol, like I never really used much T3, but my thought process is, anything I can do to get people to sleep better and recover better, I have a better chance of just having a more successful prep in general. So I try to kind of limit those things as kind of like my second option to a point, or I might put in just clen instead of ECY clen just keep piling them on like I used to a point. We would just slowly put more things in. But let me tell you one thing that works pretty good is I've been using some of these mitochondrial peptides with my masters guys and keeping their heart rates a little bit more monitored and just getting them to run a good diet and work off the body fat to a point. And we use what's needed supplementary around. And I like using the SLU, and I have no problem with it. And I don't have a problem with actually just finding what dose works for that person individually, because some people might do fine under 1 milligram. Some people might have to go from 1 to 10 milligrams before they start feeling, or actually not even feeling something, getting a little bit of results from it.
Results, definitely, yeah.
But when it comes to the things that really amplify your mitochondria in the sense of like Mots-c, those things can become dose dependent. Like the more you use, the more effective they truly are. But I try to actually get a lot of my people to use Mots-c or SLU separately, and we'll do that as our fat burner. And then we'll get through prep, and maybe we add on a little clen or whatever's needed, right? But I'll run SS31 in the rebound coming after, and it does a lot more than just the mitochondrial sense. It just gives a lot of repair to cellular health in general.
Yeah.
So I try to get people to come off the Mots-c. We've been pushing ether into the engine for a while. That's kind of what's happening. We're getting the engine to run, but just efficiently and faster and faster. And the whole idea is if I can kind of cool down and have a real nice cool down and still get mitochondrial help on the rebound aspect, and then get some sort of cellular repair and get them from being like redlined back to like actually where they should be. I like that because I've also noticed that SS31 is kind of just like a weekly dosage scenario. Like we implement it daily with these people, but the whole goal is to get to like a 10 milligram a week range, really, 7 to 10, and more is not really going to be better. That's kind of like a self-governing peptide to a point. And I'm seeing that. I've experimented with high doses of that myself and really never seen anything but one result. And it was getting up to 7 to 10 milligram range a week. And that kind of gave me a little bit of a Mots-c kind of feel when it came to the fat burning. And it felt like a little bit of a cleaner energy. I don't know if you noticed that, Dave. Like I actually kind of felt a little bit more of a cleaner energy, where the Mots-c kind of definitely is a little bit more aggressive, and I get a little more mental focus, where sometimes I can't shut that off a little bit at the end of the night. So that's one thing I would suggest, Dave, is when you're done with these and your time comes to cycle off, maybe keep that the SS31 in for, like a 4 to 6 week run. Let it do its job of kind of recovery and just kind of like a cleanup and detoxing, that kind of whole process, because we are building up a lot of oxidative stress as we're ramping up these mitochondria to a point. And that's also what's happening with the cellular repair of SS31. So I kind of like that method. And I just feel it's actually a nice little tool for a rebound too. It kind of keeps people a little cleaner. We get a little bit better use of our food to a point, I feel.
I'm going to try these still, because I haven't run these like feelable mitochondria peptides, out of these, like, would you say it's Mots-c? That's kind of the one that you would be most affected by, like you would be able to tell on versus off.
I really think the most powerful out of everything is this SLU. I think honestly the SLU is definitely more powerful of a fat burner and energy, like noticeable energy, and like you get the right dosage of SLU, you feel yourself getting clammy and sweaty, like you feel it coming on, your body temperature raises. But I am a huge fan of Mots-c. I think that works great for everybody. Yeah, I think that works.
A literal body temperature raise, like a,
I have, I'll be not even a minute and a half into my walking pace on cardio, and I'm already starting to feel the armpits get a little sweaty. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's what I get a lot of feedback from people.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, but I'm not too bought in on which is safer, right? Because SLU's really got very limited data on it, and it's really new, and anything we have is really anecdotal from this boom of people using it, where Mots-c is bioidentical. Like your body is still producing its own Mots-c anyhow. We're just exogenously putting it in. So we kind of have a little better understanding of the safety protocol of that to a point. So
is it like focus, or are we talking like fatigue prevention, or like stimulant like effect, or like
not exactly. I mean, it's almost like the SLU makes me feel the same way a little bit as like a weak methylene blue, like a little bit more engaged. I don't feel stimmed out where I can't fall asleep by any means.
But like it's like a little bit of a stimulant, like a little bit of caffeine or something.
A little bit
perceptible, like just a little perceptible.
I feel like it's more like an endurance boost for sure. Like,
that's a good way to put it.
You said, less fatigue. It's kind of like an endurance boost. You definitely feel energized, but like Dave was saying, it's not like a stimulated, like stimulant type energy. And then I just feel like, when I'm doing my cardio after lifting for an hour and a half, and then I go do cardio for 35 minutes and I still have energy kind of thing. And I don't feel like I'm just dragging.
Yeah. I think like people think stimulant is a bad thing too, because like sounds like we're describing a little bit of stimulant. It sounds like a little bit of a stimulant. Like
you get the mental stimulation, but not like the CNS like stimulation. I feel like you're not getting that CNS fatigue from it like you would an actual stimulant like Clen.
So, potentially, very much so. But also I just thought it was funny because it sounds like, I think stimulant sounds like a dirty word too. Like I understand the drawbacks for sure. But
put it this way, a dose of like ephedra yohimbine compared to like a comparable dose of SLU, you'd be like, these are night and day when it comes to stimulation aspect. I really think SLU is a little bit like a methylene blue feel to me, but that's just me.
All right. I also haven't tried that either, so that would be why. But all right, no, thank you for that. Like, because that's going to be something I need to bring to talk, because it's like having, been like not directly like in the bodybuilding dieting world the last like year and a half directly, like maybe the last year, actually, not year and a half, less even. But Mots-c, methylene blue, SS31, those are all things that I'm like, those are new toys I've yet to implement even, really, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave, can I ask you, have you used any of like the old school ECY stacks and the clenbuterol in the past?
No, I have not. I mean, a long time ago when I was younger, I used some like phentermine.
Okay.
So I've definitely had some experience with that kind of stimulant. But no, I've got some clen on hand, just hanging out just in case as a lever we can pull a little bit later into the prep here, but not yet.
Yeah, I've just really enjoyed prepping guys, and I've had great success. Actually, last year at Rhode Island, one of my clients, he wouldn't mind me sharing. We decided to just say screw the clen and the ECY. We wanted to really prioritize sleep because of he was working 2 jobs at the time, which was a little different this prep than what we had done in the past. He's been with me for 5 or 6 years, and I know his body like the back of my hand. I said, why don't we give the mitochondrial things a try? And his sleep used to get ruined from just a little bit of clen, and pretty much ephedra was really sensitive to him to a point. And sleep was just impossible. And then you put tren in 4 weeks out, and it's just, you're not sleeping at all. You're just closing your eyes and laying flat in bed. And but he was sleeping like a baby when we started doing the mitochondrial stuff, and he was the most shredded I've ever gotten him by far.
Wow.
I thought it worked great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've always been kind of a stimulant sensitive person myself. So I can't, I try not to have caffeine past, 2 or 3 p.m. usually, so it's not affecting my sleep. We work out in the evenings. So I use a non-stimulant, just kind of pump formula for my pre-workout. It doesn't have any kind of caffeine or anything in it. It's all just stuff to help with the pump. And so, yeah.
Caffeine's like the worst one too. Like caffeine, I won't take within any later an hour after waking, actually, and that's just what I do. Like I take 200 caffeine in the morning, actually down like 100 now, but caffeine late in the day is like the worst for me.
Well, it's got a longer half-life than people realize. You have a 2 o'clock pick-me-up coffee. There's 9 hours after that you're going to be stimulated to a point, whether you realize it or not.
I would rather see somebody use something else for a stimulant if you were going to need it that late in the day. Like there's better options. Yeah.
I'm going to give a shameless plug to real quick. A company I am affiliate with is Underdog Energy Drinks, and they have a small amount of caffeine in their energy drinks, but they got I think it's 350 milligrams of alpha GPC. They got lion's mane extract in there. They even got 4 grams of citrulline as well. So you can take that as like a little bit of a mental focus pre-workout, and it's not just a sugar stimulant bomb like a Red
That's
Bull.
literally all I take. Yeah. Citrulline and alpha GPC is like
that. Dude. It's drinkunderdog.com. We got a code to get 20% off. Yeah, blue collar. Yeah, I love
interesting. Tina dropped a little knowledge on us. I'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you see that?
I haven't been running it a super long time, and I only do a milligram a day, but it's definitely, I could definitely add a folate test into my next labs just to see.
That's a great point that she brought up too, because couple that with Rita, our woman that gets us in trouble, Rita. You're gonna have a folate issue whether you realize it or not. So yeah, I'm glad she put that up. I'm starting to.
Then what do you do? Then what do you got to do about that, Dave?
Well, I mean, I'd be backing off the usage a little bit first, and then supplementing in what I need after the fact. But yeah, you can really speed things up with the Mots-c, from what I understand. And then obviously we've known that with some of the GLPs. Like, I don't think people realize, like the GLP-1 and GLP-2. It says even in the pamphlet when they were prescribing these things that people should be actually using like B12 as well, injections along with those GLPs.
Oh, injections as well. Wow.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So
it depletes it depletes B12 for some. I don't really know why. I'll have to look that up. Let me find that out for you.
It's like nitrous.
That's very interesting. Now, is that the same for Rhode?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's how I know that. Oh, with the B12, I'd imagine so because you're getting the same problem.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just like an
I'll follow up
absorption problem because of like the slowdown with your digestion and stuff, probably.
Yeah. I don't know why.
And what would some of the side effects be of a B12 deficiency?
Neuropathy, nerve damage, tingling. Like
energy. You can have mood swings, energy. If it's really depleted as well. Anemic issues as well.
B12 isn't folate too. Like, I don't know if we're confusing this, but she was talking about folate, so I'm not sure if we're confused or if they're just related because I didn't know about this. So
and Matt made a good point. The B100 works great too if you can absorb it orally. I didn't realize. Dummy me. I didn't realize how many people have such a tough time absorbing B vitamins in general orally. Yeah. I stumbled upon that.
Is that something with the MTFR gene mutation thing or something, and you need methylated stuff or something like that? With the absorption of things like folate and B vitamins.
So, I mean, I know that is one mechanism. Like there is but I don't think that's an absorption thing. It's an absorption is fine, but like probably utilization in the case of like folic acid, has to be methylated, I think, to become methylfolate, or I don't know. That's the methylfolate is the form that it works. I don't know if your body does that to it, or there's just some other intermediate in between, or that's its final form that it gets used in by the body. I'm not really sure, but like the thought process behind that is that with folic acid, you're consuming methyl donors that have to be used to make it active, I believe. And then you can actually make yourself undermethylated with it because you're putting an increase on the demand.
Like a Bodybuilding Monday, Wednesday, Friday pointed out the citrulline could be good with lowering blood pressure. I mean, I could buy that because I take my pre-workout that I use has 10 grams of citrulline, and it's like the highest dose citrulline I've ever seen in a pre-workout. Most are maybe up to 6, I think, at the most. And
is that Gorilla Mode then?
No, it's actually a local guy here out of Oregon, and it's called Beat It Up, and he makes a formula that's non-stim called Pump Juice. He makes a stimulant form pre-workout as well, but the one I use is called Pump Juice, and it's got 10 grams of citrulline and a bunch of other good stuff. I mean, you get really good pumps, man. It's great. I like it. I'm hooked. And he's a local guy that goes to the gym here and trains a lot of competitors here in the area. So it's cool supporting somebody like that.
I'm gonna be the weirdo that copies and pastes a ChatGPT explanation because
that works out perfectly. Isn't it so much easier? But let's wrap up here on the DEXA scan. And I want to talk briefly about DHT. We're going to take a couple questions and call it a night, guys. All right, let's pull that back up on the stage here for you. We got this last year of Dave's latest DEXA scan, looking at body fat percentage. Let me increase this a little bit. Oh, where's the where is that thing? What am I, an idiot? Oh, I just can't see it over my camera. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, maybe that's too big, actually. That's better. All right.
You got the same issue. You put your camera right.
Yeah. Well, there's actually 2 cameras. That I got one up on a higher by my monitor. I don't usually have to look in that area. But anyhow, I heard you say it on the stream the other night. You're like, I can't see you on my camera. You're trying to read. So what do we got here, Dave? We're looking at your body fat percentage, composition trend total. Okay, going back from September of 25 to May of 26. Well, it's weird the way they got this chart.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 3 data points on there. That's probably why it looks a little weird, but ultimately it's trending down in the right way. It's the same numbers that we looked at up at the top of that DEXA scan. They just put it in a little trend line for you for people that like graphs, line graphs and stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave Perez, man, you've been it's been awesome since we had you on H4M and we talked about your transformation all then. And I don't remember if you even mentioned that you were interested in a transformation bodybuilding competition at that point. You were more in your transformation stage, and then you're taking this journey to the next level. You know, that takes serious dedication, dude. And I'm real impressed with what you've accomplished, and you should be proud of yourself.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was definitely a cool kind of new goal to work toward for, you know, for this part of my weight loss journey. So like I said, I'd gone from 370 to 340 and then 340 down to about 250 on my own. And you know, all of that was just with kind of like the open-ended goal of, you know, being as healthy as possible and you know, kind of just working on longevity stuff. You know, but it's kind of nice having like a set goal with a timeline on it, you know. So that's why I had been kind of kicking around the idea last year that this would be a cool show to do someday, and that's why at the beginning of the year, you know, I decided to go for it.
Well, great job, man. I'm looking forward to it. So 9 weeks from now, you'll be on stage and having one hell of an experience. And we'll have you back to talk about it then, too. And you'll probably be back before then. Who am I kidding? Right?
And then after that, I'll be getting some barbecue because it's down in Houston, man. So, I'm getting some, after prepping, I'm definitely wanting some, I'm ready for some Texas barbecue while we're down there.
That's good shit, dude. All right. So, I don't know. So you want to talk about the DHT and all that tonight, or you just want to take these questions?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm going to take the questions for tonight. We'll save that for our next show.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
All right. Let's start off with Verb's question from earlier. I know he's not here right now, but he'll be able to see it once we put the chapters up tomorrow. How does ment work with as an E2 source in the SHBG protocol?
Yeah, right. I've done it two different ways. Like you can now allow ment to be its own E2 source, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you guys use ment? Any of your guys use it, Dave?
Not really. I don't have a problem with it other than it's so volatile to like dose. Like the first thing that came to mind with this question in the sense of like, if we're going to try to use it as a substrate for aromatase for E2, we're going to have a difficulty pinpointing such a strong compound, to really nail down like making my E2. You're going to have to be almost at the milligram, like perfect, or micrograms to be exact, and replicate that repetitively. That's the problem I see. But other than that, I mean, in theory, why wouldn't it work?
Yeah,
wouldn't be my go-to.
Oh yeah, it makes a mess for people. Like it's really because like if you're using it with test and then like test and primo, and then ment, like you have to control, I don't know, just the whole estrogenic burden downward, I guess. Like you can't really rely on your number anymore on the labs because you don't know what is coming from, 7-alpha methyl estradiol from ment or what is coming from test. But I have done it with my SHBG protocol where I've run ment and then I was taking 25 milligrams of aromacin every day to try to crush it.
Wow.
3,000 milligrams of boldenone and ment, like a little bit of ment, like, well, not a little, 350, but and then I was using estradiol as my base. So like I was kind of just trying to cancel out anything that would aromatize with the aromacin and just like keeping my estradiol base the same. So it worked that way fine, like I didn't have issues with it adding any estrogenic burden in that instance because I was taking an AI and EQ, so not EQ, it was Boltzit, but same idea. But there's not really any other real world equivalent to that unless you do it how I did it,
Yeah, and I'd just be worried. I'd be worried about a little bit of the other side effects that come along with just using a 19 nor as your E2, your E2 source at the end of the day. I don't want to mess around with it. Depends on how people react. I'd almost assume just control your estrogen with testosterone in this experiment, or adding in estradiol. Like you said, you can literally just put in what's needed. Once you get the recipe, it should be replicable.
Yeah. And then you just have to crush the rest with like an AI of some sort. But then, I don't know. Ment is kind of like the non-19 nor of the 19 nors almost. Like, I don't really feel like it has the same, I don't know. It's like remarkably weak at higher doses. Like it's very potent at like almost nothing, but like it doesn't seem to like go any stronger of anything at, like, I feel like I've taken 75 milligrams a week and it was as strong as 350, you know? And yeah, it's kind of just, it kind of sucks actually. I don't really like it, but I have tried it and it was, it's effective, but
All right, good shit. Let's take our last question for the night, guys. And for our American friends out there, happy holidays. It's going to be a great long weekend. Hopefully it's going to be good weather. I mean, I actually don't even know if it's going to be nice weather or not. But here comes our last question for tonight. Thoughts? It's from Androgen Receptor. He dropped this actually before the show even started. So thoughts on famous coach saying overall low fat intake on cut makes help the body to shed off more fat more easily, efficiently as compared to cut on overall moderately high fats. Is this true?
so yeah, okay, and like really indirectly, I was just thinking this through, but it's like at first I was wanting to say no because like how could it possibly happen? And your energy source has to be either carbs or fat of the same amount. What's the difference then if you're in the same deficit? You're either going to lose fat or you're going to lose lean tissue. There's not any other option. So the implication in here is that you would on high fat without carbs, you would keep fat, but as you lose weight, you would lose muscle in that case. So that isn't really directly true, but what carbs will do is help you preserve muscle in the way that they do through the action of insulin and fullness, intramuscular fullness. Basically it's like saying a carnivore diet versus, or just a ketogenic diet in general versus like a diet with carbs, which isn't bodybuilders know you need carbs for things, so indirectly it ends up circling back to that. So it is true in the sense that carbs are useful,
Right. So on paper, if all calories are the same, it doesn't make a difference. But in practicality, like you say, the way that if we can keep fats low and we're going to use carbohydrates as our energy source in a prep, that's going to give you better gym performance, which is probably going to pump out some more calorie burn in the long run. You're going to recover better. We recover better absolutely from carbohydrates than we do compared to fat by any means. And then it's going to be more muscle protecting and protein sparing having carbohydrates in play, and it's going to be a little bit of a quicker availability for its direct energy for the muscle itself. So no, it's not magic. Like if all calories are the same on paper, nothing should change. You're going to lose the same amount of body fat or weight on the scale in general, but I would prefer to just be using carbohydrates as my energy source and given a direct line of energy for the body to burn rather than making it have to be convinced I have to pull from stored energy anyhow. And then and when that process starts to happen, you got a big chance of, like you're saying, your body might start to prefer actually tissue than stored calories, believe it or not.
Yeah, right. And then there's like what muscle protein synthesis needs to do is like the amount of hours in a day where you can actually initiate that process is going to happen when you have more full glycogen stores as opposed to not. And if you are using fat as your fuel, what's going to happen after your workout? Like you're going to take much longer to rebuild those glycogen stores. And that means that even though the proteins around the building blocks are there, like you're not going to be you're not going to have as much to go on there to initiate that process. Like, so if somebody wanted to do high fat and low carbs, you could like just have, I've heard Vigorous Steve talk about this, like when he's done a ketogenic diet for, while on a cut, he would take still at least like 50 grams of carbs, I think, after his workout, for that reason, to build back the glycogen stores. And that's it.
And then you could also simply look at the thermodynamics of food in general. Like having protein and carbs are going to require energy to actually, consume them and burn, use them. Then the thermodynamics of fat is non-existent. It just is easily stored directly. Yeah, try
2012.
try two preps without carbs and the equal amount of calorie. Like try a 2,000 calorie diet with zero carbs but plenty of fat. Try a 2,000 calorie diet with plenty of the other way around. You're going to notice that having carbs in place, you're going to look better. You're going to perform better. You're massively going to look better, which is what we're trying to do.
What do you think about like simple like MCT and whatnot as a fuel source, like C8 MCT oil as like faster turned into fuel? I don't know. I've never tried it because I've never been low enough carbs to ever try it. But
I mean, I've never tried that either. I mean, I think there's probably way more effective fat sources that we should be replacing the small amount of fats that are in our diet anyways, right?
yeah,
Plus you got certain fats that come with a lot of extras. If you think about it, you have an avocado, you're getting fibers, you're getting micronutrients, you're getting minerals, you're getting EFAs, you're getting a really good bang for your buck when you're having to put back into those fats. Yeah, that's my take. I don't think I'd ever really in a prep scenario want to eliminate things that can retain muscle on my athlete and make them perform better in the gym, recover better, and sleep better. That is always going to be things that have to be taken care of first before we can even worry about what kind of progress we pick up at any rate after the fact. We can't have a good prep if we can't train well.
Yeah,
right.
I built like all of the size that I did on maybe under 90 grams of fat at the high end, you know, like, and then in a diet like under 60, but my calories got really high. So, you know, 90 grams of fat on a 7,500 calorie day isn't that much.
Right. I like Tanya's comment there that with Palumbo, apparently, according to Palumbo, apparently fats are way more important for muscle building. Yeah.
Oh, way more important, he said. Interesting.
Yeah, he's got some interesting takes for somebody that has that's well educated. Yeah, like we got to take a break because our we'll burn out our androgen receptors the more longer we're on gear.
So I don't agree with that. We know the androgen upregulates.
Yeah, that's an old school thought process.
Yeah,
but he'll tell you till he's blue in the face that's how it goes, and it's
yeah.
I don't know.
So I might take a grain from it, like not that I don't think that like everything shows AR upregulates, but like is my, you know, I'll talk about this with next week, but the honeymoon effect, basically, you know, when people go back on and then back on, like they have a stronger effect, you know, but it's not like, you know, it's not productive if you're trying to gain size to just come off just for that short amount of time that you feel like stuff's working better for. But it's not even, you have to like come off too. Like, I don't think it's just like going down to, you know,
Well, you also got, when you do take a break from it, at least that honeymoon effect can also be a little bit of the body just being in a little bit of a better healthy state from backing off in general, and just being a better healthy vessel to metabolize the compounds you're putting into yourself and get use of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Can I ask Dave one quick question before we hop off about his prep?
Absolutely, man. Do whatever you want.
I was curious with your prep with the transformation style. Obviously, you're a bigger guy. You're not just dropping 30 pounds from an off season and stepping on stage. You've been dropping fat for a while. So I'd imagine there's a little bit of a skin tightness thing that is going to be showing that you're going to try to, combat the best you can. I'm actually curious about like your approach. Have you used growth hormone in the past? Do you know how you react to it, or is this your
No, this will be the first time.
Yeah. So it makes me think of a couple things during the peaking part with you, right? Like the whole idea is to bring, just like any other category, the best possible look on stage, and you don't have a weight class to really worry about. So you actually have a lot of variables and options you get to play with in your peak if you're lean. So if you get so what I'm getting to is I'd take a little bit of data on how you react to the growth hormone when it comes to water retention, and finding also your minimum effective dose for recovery and a little bit of lipolysis, because usually I find people do better higher growth hormone in the off season when it comes to body composition, and a little bit, we don't need quite 10 units a day at, for prep. Sometimes you putting in someone that was using 10, maybe getting 6, we're still getting good energy, good recovery. We're getting good lipolysis benefits, and we're getting a little bit of like just kind of health in general that we're getting from the growth hormone, in managing also water retention. So I'd pay attention to how you react and how much water you hold. And that's going to tell you how you want to utilize growth hormone on the peak week, right? If you look drier without it, pull it, right? So my thought process is thinking about those things with you on your peak, as well as I know you put Primo in. If there's an availability to get a little bit more of the Mastron into play as a DHT for yourself, and if it does help you with your estrogen comparable to Primo, that would be cool. But you're going to get a little bit of a better texture of the skin in the sense of like making it doesn't thin the skin, but you get the down regulation of collagen synthesis, and you actually notice people kind of look a little bit thinner skinned, and you don't have that thicker skin when you're stepping on stage when Mastron's kind of in play. I noticed that better than with like Primo as a DHT that we put in. So I'm thinking those two things are something you might want to consider if it's not a hassle for you to kind of just collect some data for the growth hormone. That's an easy one. And if you've never used Mastron, they're kind of they're an easy swap. I don't know what Austin's stance is on them, but like for prep, I think there's a big difference on prep with which one you want to use depending on the look, right? So if you can use Mastron, I think you're going to have a little bit better skin texture, a little thinner look, almost as if you're drier. In the areas that you are tight, like your shoulders are still ripping nice and tight. Looks like your legs are still doing that. Obviously, some places around the waist are going to be a little bit looser. I was the 300-pound guy myself many a times. So take into consideration those things. Those little 1% points that you can gain in the peak can be a big difference for you.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, and the plan is definitely to my original plan was to titrate up slow. I thought I titrated up that growth hormone slow over a couple different weeks, to get to like a 5 IU range. But then it ended up not being legit GH. So now that I'm kind of short on time, I'm not going to take, probably a full 2 or 3 weeks to titrate up to that. I might do kind of more of an expedited titration, over like a week or week and a half, where I try to get up, to that 4 or 5 IU range and kind of see how it goes for sure. I thought I had some Mots-c on hand, but now I'm second guessing if I misplaced the vial I had, or if it didn't show up with my order and I didn't realize it at the time. So I've got more on the way. I should have that next week. So the plan was to add Mots-c in at the same as my Primo, so 140 a week. So then I'd be 280 of the Primo Mast and then 280 test. So it'll be an even ratio basically between the three. And then what's that?
Is that what you're going to take on stage?
No. So then at about six weeks out, roughly, my kind of plan is to probably pull all the long esters and switch to test prop. I've got mast prop and then maybe some tranase at a low dose. I would just keep it all low dose though. I'm not trying to get all crazy. It's not with the transformation division too. A lot of it is just the visual transformation between when I was big to what I look like on stage and stage presence. And we have to do a 90-second video, just kind of answering some questions and talking about your transformation. And that's like 50% of the judging for what we're doing. And then the stage stuff is only like 50% total. And that's like, your confidence on stage, the visual transformation between your before and after picture and what you look like on stage. And, so I don't have to get too crazy. It's not like, I'm not peaking for like a hardcore competition, like you guys were saying. So, I do want to get every little edge I can, compared to maybe what a lot of other guys are doing for a transformation, because the top 5 in each class. So I'm in that 75 to 150 pound class. The top 5 people will qualify as a qualifier show for their championship show. And I don't have to, the championship's in September, but I don't have to use it this year. I can save it and use it next year for next year's championship show, which is what I would do. So my goal is to get a qualification, hopefully, for the championship, save it, and then I'll have till next September, basically, to have just like a crazy off season and try to stay super lean or get more lean. Maybe dabble in some skin removal surgery if I have time and money to do it. and then maybe put on some size, have an off season where I try to, add some more size, but stay lean and come into that championship looking even freakier. And that's because the championship shows where they actually like hand out like some decent prize money and stuff. So,
hell yeah. Yeah.
So have you tried the topical GHK? I don't know if you guys
I haven't. No, I was
actually
actually, I was messaging with Dave because I had seen him talking about it on one of the shows a couple weeks ago. And, I'm going to do that. So I've got a bunch of GHK laying around. So I was going to do that. And I was messaging with Dave saying that, because I remember he said he was mixing it with like a cream and that it get kind of like it turn into like a paste. So you were doing it at night, you were saying, because it would kind of just like clump to your skin. So when I started looking into that and doing a little research, like you had mentioned, DMSO obviously was an option that came up for helping it absorb. But that seemed kind of like indiscriminate and, going beyond just absorbing into your skin. It was going to kind of go systemic, through your skin that way. But then another option I found was emu oil. Is supposedly absorbs really well, and it's very close to like natural stuff that our body already produces and absorbs through the human skin really, really well. So there's actually a company here in Oregon, about an hour and a half away from my house, that sells emu products because they have like an emu farm. And so I just ordered a bottle of emu oil, and we'll see. I'm going to try to mix some of that up and see what we can do. A lot of my loose skin's kind of in my chest and like my lower belly. So like if I keep my, my trunks or my pants waist or my underwear or whatever high enough, if Eric pulled up some of those pictures, you can't really see it in my lower waist until, you pull that waistline down or whatever. And then it's kind of like that lower, skin's kind of hanging, pouching out. So I'll definitely take some before and after pictures and see. There should be like a front double bicep too that you can, like right there. So, right below my waistline, right there, below like where my
right here. I mean, it's not bad, man.
Well, no, below that. I mean, I'm telling you, if I pulled the waistline of my shorts down just a little bit, I'm hiding my pouch pretty well right there, which I will do for the show as well, for sure. And then you can see in my chest too, like I've got loose skin in the chest.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's got to be expected.
It's tightened up quite a bit, obviously, over time, as you can see through these 3 pictures. But that'll be something I'm going to have removed eventually. It's just never going to probably fully go away. But I'll definitely try the topical on both my chest and my lower abdomen down there and see what it does, and take some before and afters just to see.
Yeah, very cool, man. The GHK. I mean, I still got to do that short because that should go viral. I mean, I did a short on it before and it got pulled for whatever reason. Not going to get into it, but I probably have it on one of my drives somewhere. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you it's in my Shorts app. I could just go in and pull that original short out that we did way back when I was with H4M. Remember that, Dave? I think it was the first time I ever met you. And you talked about the GHK, and I did that short. That shit was sick. So if I could find that, man, I'm going to put that up, and that's some awesome stuff. And people were saying, look at, or at least one comment, maybe 2. Well, he's posing differently in the second one and leaning back. And I'm like, come on, dude, use your fucking brains. I mean, you can obviously see that there's creases and wrinkles of skin. I don't give a fuck if you're bent halfway over. That shit wouldn't fucking go away.
Yeah.
One
quick thing I'll mention too, that's just popped in my head. I don't mean to change the subject, but on the growth hormone, Dave, too, is I wouldn't be too anxious to break protocol on how quickly you ramp up doses on those, just because the benefit you're going to get at this point, since you haven't been running it since you're so close to the show, is what is it like? You got like another 10 weeks, 6 weeks?
Not like 9.5. I'm 9.5 out. So by the time I get it next week and start running it, I'll be about 8.5 weeks out.
So like even if you got up to like 3 units with no side effects that are troublesome to you, if you get a little bit of fullness from it, and you get a little bit of a small amount of water retention, that would still be an indicator to me that I would probably pull it before the show and just gain those little points of tightness. But not only should you pay attention to water retention as you start implementing your doses going up, but also gauging fullness at some spots that you can, right? So if you start noticing, like, I don't get a big fuller look. Some guys don't look fuller on growth hormone. Myself, I look a lot fuller on growth hormone. It's a little different from people. So I got to balance like the pros and cons. If I'm going to keep it in, do I need to be a little tighter? Do I need a little fuller? Am I way ahead or am I way behind on the prep? And I think about those things with all my clients. So if you might get a pretty good response with just 3 units and find yourself going, wow, that I shouldn't be in a rush to just go higher just to get side effects. You know, if you might be a little surprised on your first go around for sure.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's great info, man. I appreciate it. And then I've also got some, prescription Anavar and a little UGL Winstrol.
Oh, that prescription shit's great.
Yeah,
what a difference, right?
So yeah, and I've got little UGL Winstrol. So I've got all kinds of stuff squirreled away, man. Like I said, I'm not trying to get all crazy, but I've got stuff just in case, and we'll see. We're just kind of playing things by ear, week by week. We got a loose plan and just kind of going based off check-in pictures and kind of what seems to be going. My coach has been saying every week, he's like, man, I'm surprised you're so tight. You look really tight, like even without all these other compounds and stuff in, with no mast or anything in. And so that's definitely encouraging. So we'll see if we can keep it rolling.
Yeah, protect that training quality and sleep, man. And that's the biggest cosmetic effect to anybody on stage is a fresh physique looks great every time,
Have you tried, we were talking about GH, but have you tried IGF-1 for fullness on a diet?
Me?
I haven't tried it at all.
Yeah, Dave, I know Dave's used it, so.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
that's like the
Mike.
shit.
Mike never made it, but I think he was mentioning he runs IGF-1 LR3 or something, doesn't he? In his protocols, does anybody recall?
Yeah, I think he's been playing around with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like super soft. I mean, I've like called it GH on steroids, honestly. Like I know people don't. I've had people who say it doesn't work for them too, but like, I mean, I've gotten those people to have it work for them if they take it with Tren. Yeah. So,
I'll give you one free little blue collar trick that we use is some people that have lagging body parts. Like this works really good with like shoulder caps. To give you an example. We'll use IGF-1 in the shoulders intramuscularly. We'll do like a 4 to 6 week run. Nothing crazy, but we'll add in like FST7 sets. So like these really high blood plasma volumizing method with IGF-1. And I've seen people have smaller body parts. You're not going to do it with your quads. You're not going to do it with some of your back, but like biceps, triceps, shoulders. I've seen people just transform those things so quick. And it translates to the stage. It's not just like a volumizing trick, which it can be too. It really does help with lagging body parts for sure.
That's how I use it too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, I can that's where I pin it, but to use it, but like I can just partition a greater surplus to it too.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so then with something like that, you'd want to go bilaterally, I'm guessing, and for whatever side enhancement, if you're looking for like triceps or something, or
especially if you're going to utilize some training aspects with it, like I'm saying, like some of these like FST7s, like these really big volumizing volume tactics, with your training, that works great. But I have used IGF-1 with some people as well, just systemically, just put it, right in the belly, and it works great too, but not always with building, like a shoulder cap or like a specific spot as well.
All right, guys.
Might have to put it in order.
I think we're going to be wrapping it up there. It's getting closing in on hour 45 minutes there. Lastly, before we go, guys, I want to remind you, for those maybe that weren't here, we got the NPC in Rhode Island coming up at Bally's Twin River Casino. Dave Canney is a sponsor at this event. It's going to be fantastic. I'll be going. My wife will be going. Of course, Dave's going to have a booth there, and these links will be in the description box. And, of course, Dave Perez, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It's been freaking awesome, as always, hanging out and bullshitting with you and talking about your prep and your transformation and all that, dude. Great job. Great work, man. Keep it up and keep us informed. We love talking with you about all this shit. So we thank you again for coming on. Austin, I'll pass it off to you, bro.
Not much to say. Just thanks for coming out, guys. Thank you. Thanks for everybody.
That's it. All right. So, yeah, for our American friends, you have a wonderful holiday weekend and a great week next week. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. You have a wonderful weekend, a great week next week, and a good night. Take care.